watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. Coming up tonight, a pedestrian is injured in Grimsby, traffic's brought to a standstill across North Lincolnshire, and a new dementia ward in Scunthorpe. And later in tonight's programme, Allan Smith on putting a spring in Louth Choral Society's step, and before that, Nobby Styles on Workers' Memorial Day. A pedestrian has been injured in an accident in Grimsby. The incident happened at the Bargate and Dudley Street junction this morning after the pedestrian was hit by a bus. Ambulance services arrived at the scene just before 9 o'clock. Humberside police say that the pedestrian is a woman in her 20s and that she suffered a head injury which is not thought to be life-threatening. They're asking for information from anyone who may have witnessed the incident. Anyone with information is asked to ring Humberside Police on 101. And in other police news, Humberside Police are now appealing for information following a fatal traffic collision in Barton. This incident happened on the 19th of March at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when a blue Toyota Prius collided with a tree on Brigg Road. The driver was taken to hospital but has now died. Anyone who may have witnessed the crash is asked to call Humberside Police on 101, quoting log number 343 for the date 19th of the 3rd, 18. 3 Grimsby food businesses have come forward offering job opportunities to the 390 staff of the town's 5-star fish factory who are threatened with redundancy. The factory announced last week that it will be closing. W.M. Morrison is offering 100 vacancies for those interested in applying, while Scratch Meals currently has 35 vacancies. And Young's Seafoods has recently announced the creation of 200 jobs after it secured 3 new contracts with Marks & Spencer's. All 3 are Grimsby-based companies. A junction on the M62 has been shut today following a crash involving a caravan transporter. The closure is between junction 36 and junction 37. Traffic has been brought to a standstill on the motorway between Goole and Howden. Road users travelling westbound are advised to follow the solid triangle diversion symbols. Road users travelling eastbound are advised to follow the solid square diversion symbols. Road users are also advised to allow a lot of extra time for their journey. And in other traffic news, an accident on the A15 has brought traffic to a standstill on the Humber Bridge. The A15 has been blocked southbound at the A1077 Ferriby Road junction due to a 2-vehicle accident. Humberside Police are diverting traffic onto the slip road towards Barton and then back onto the A15. And in even more traffic news, another accident has occurred in Hull. The A1165 East Yorkshire has been affected both ways after an incident involving a lorry. The road between the A1165 East Yorkshire and the A1165 Stone Ferry Road is closed with heavy traffic in both directions. Flood warnings have been issued for areas in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire following long spells of heavy rain over the Easter bank holiday. Flood alerts have been issued for Immingham, Stallingborough, South Ferriby and New Waltham. Hull and North Ferriby have also had flood alerts. The amber alert means that residents in those areas are advised to be prepared for further flooding. A former care home site in Scunthorpe is set to be redeveloped as part of a £4.5 million project. Residents are currently being consulted on the plans to turn the former Lilacs site on Warwick Road into a dementia care housing scheme with 25 2-bed flats. Councillor Rob Waltham, leader of North Lincolnshire, explains more about the project.
We've a whole new care complex specifically around supporting people with dementia, but also making sure that they have the housing that people need to meet their care needs going forward. And so it will be a new complex. We've had extra money from government. We're working closely with Ongo Homes, and we obviously are designing a whole new home environment that will support the needs of people with dementia going forward. Well, we know that just if you look at last year alone, we had over 1,500 people that were diagnosed with dementia in our county. That's only going to grow more and more, largely as we live longer, and obviously we end up contracting all sorts of different conditions and diseases as we go through the rest of our lives. So, with a growing older population, with more people experiencing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other variants, we need to make sure that we've got a home environment which is supported, so that people can still live in an environment with their husband or wife, that they also are supported from a care perspective, just around keeping independent and being able to live in an environment where also people are there who you can share some of the concerns and issues that you end up encountering when you're part of a very, very difficult set. Having got these new apartments going forward, when they're completed in 2020, we know that we'll have a facility which will not only be the best it possibly can be, but it'll be ready there to keep people independent and also keep supporting people with dementia and their needs and their families' needs going forward.
Work on a new lifeboat station in Cleethorpes is expected to begin later this year. The station will replace an old one which has been part of the promenade's landscape for 30 years. The work means that Cleethorpes RNLI will also receive a new lifeboat. East Lindsey District Council is teaming up with Dutch travel organisation House of Britain to attract more visitors from Holland and Belgium. House of Britain has produced a range of itineraries and trips for the Lincolnshire Wolds and coast. These trips will be marketed to Dutch and Belgian holidaymakers through features on the House of Britain website, dedicated e-newsletters and promotion via social media. East Lindsey District Council is also working in collaboration with the Lincolnshire Coastal Destination bid on the project. And Beverley Minster has been awarded funds from the Heritage Lottery Fund to repair its leaking roof. The present building dates from the mid-13th century. It is England's largest parish church. It's been awarded £32,600 and the roof repair is part of the Minster's Place of Sanctuary project. Detailed proposals will be made to bid for full funding of £440,000. Humberside Fire and Rescue, the fire brigade, has identified numerous places in Hull as no-go zones after fire crews were abused by residents. This comes after crew members were the victims of antisocial behaviour from residents. Orchard Park and St John's Grove are two of the areas listed. This means that two-men crews will no longer attend call-outs to these places. Instead, only fire engines with a full crew and CCTV will be sent to incidents reported in those areas. Now, I'm joined by Nobby Styles, not that one, who's organising this year's Workers' Memorial Day. And Nobby, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in. When is Workers' Memorial Day?
Workers' Memorial Day this year will be Saturday the 28th of April.
How will you be celebrating it, or commemorating it, rather?
We will be commemorating it by holding a service at the three places of Immingham, Grimsby and Cleethorpes. And what we will be doing will be laying wreaths, remembering the workers who have died, along with the families who will be there. We'll be holding a minute's silence, and then we'll be carrying on to try and promote safety at work. So
that's at St James's, the Minster in Grimsby.
And the Grimsby one will take place at Nuns Corner, opposite the War Memorial.
Right.
The Immingham one will be at the War Memorial at Immingham, and the Cleethorpes one will be in the Pear Gardens, Alexander Road. Now,
you're wearing that purple ribbon, the forget-me-not, not spelt with a K there. Yeah. How long has this Workers' Memorial Day been something that we've been marking?
It's been from the early 90s when it was first started in Canada, and we recognised it, but not officially till 2010. And I got involved in 2003 when I organised the very first services in Immingham, Grimsby and Cleethorpes.
Now, we have memorial days for people who've died in warfare, of course, and soldiers in the armed services. Workers, they are in a lot of those jobs, they're in some danger all the time. How bad a problem do we have of losing people at work?
If they don't do the risk assessments or people take too many chances, you can have quite a lot of people who are killed at work, because people, they intend to go to work, but they don't want to, be killed at work. They want to come home to the families. And I think this is what we're trying to do in the end, is promote health and safety at work and try and cut it out. And the big industrial jobs have sort of slowed down a little bit now, and they don't have the workforces where, when they had the big workforces before, many more people used to die, where now it's the odd ones and twos, unless it's something to do with asbestos, which unfortunately there are still thousands and thousands of people dying and are going to die from asbestos.
Well, apart from asbestos, which is, as it were, a sort of a historical problem that's causing present and future consequences, but statistics that you've given me that just last year 137 people died in the workplace, and that's not including people who drive for a living. Presumably there are more on the roads, and rather terrifying that that there's an estimate that it's possibility that 50,000 people die each year.
Oh, absolutely. And if you take into account the labour organisation as well worldwide, it can be up to 2 million, because don't forget some countries have still got children employed with machinery which are crippled and being killed all the time, and this is everything. With the countries coming on board, we are trying to make a big impact on world safety as well.
Wear a hard hat.
Yeah.
If people want to get in touch and let you know they're coming to those services, how do they contact you?
They can contact me by email hwstyles@yahoo.co, or on some of the schedules and in the papers there'll be my telephone number 01469 510 855, and there's my mobile as well.
Nobby, thank you so much for coming
You're welcome. Thanks for the support.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring reactions from the weekend sports fixtures, including the Hull Derby, and Allan Smith on Louth Choral Society's spring concert. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us reactions from this weekend's sports fixtures, including the Hull Derby, and Allan Smith on Louth Choral Society's upcoming concert. North East Lincolnshire Council has revealed new opening times for its 4 libraries. Grimsby, Cleethorpes, Immingham and Waltham libraries had previously been open from 8:30 in the morning to 7:30 in the evening on weekdays. Now all 4 libraries will close at 5:30 in the afternoon. Grimsby and Waltham libraries will close on Mondays, while Cleethorpes and Immingham libraries will close on Wednesdays. All libraries remain closed on Sundays. The move has been made by the council to cut costs. 3 people have been made redundant because of the cuts, with further redundancies expected soon. A gallery specially designed for young visitors at the Ferrens Gallery in Hull has been shortlisted for an award. Explore Art has been shortlisted in the Project on a Limited Budget category for the 2018 Museums and Heritage Awards. Explore Art opened in January 2017 and has since attracted over 100,000 families. The space was designed to break down barriers to art by looking at paintings and sculpture through the familiar concepts of colour, shape, texture and line. It provides a way in for children and their families to experience original works enhanced by interactive activities. The winners will be announced in London on Wednesday, the 16th of May. A writing project designed to empower older people in the East Midlands has received nearly £100,000. Arts Council England has awarded Writing East Midlands £99,531 to be precise, for a project called Bring the Elder Tree to Life. The 3-year-long project aims to tackle social isolation and well-being in older people by encouraging them to join group activities such as storytelling or reading. The project is aimed at people in rural Lincolnshire. More information can be found through Writing East Midlands website. Now, I'm joined by Allan Smith of Louth Choral Society, which is planning a concert for the spring. Allan, welcome.
Hi, good to be here again.
And I won't expect you to sing all the way through this interview. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could both do that?
Oh, yes, maybe a duet next time.
Well, put some work into that. When is this concert going to be and what's it all about?
So, in a few weeks' time, it's Sunday, the 22nd of April at 7:30 p.m. in St James's Church in Louth.
You couldn't find a finer building or better acoustic.
Yeah, beautiful to sing in, really wonderful.
What's on the agenda?
So we have got an English and French programme. We have the 19th century composer Gabriel Fauré. We've got his rather large work, his Requiem, and we have his Cantique de Jean Racine, which he won a prize for when he was 19 years old.
And what on earth does that mean in some sort of civilised language?
Well, it's basically a prayer that Jean Racine wrote. It's a beautiful prayer, very poetic, and it's all in French. But absolutely is beautiful and quite amazing for such a young composer to furnish such a great piece.
Wasn't Racine one of the rude ones?
Oh, well, it depends on your interpretation.
I think he had
perhaps.
some dodgy friends. That
But it's a well-known piece. It's used in the film Babe, so some people might even recognise it from that.
All right, so that's the French element.
Yeah.
And the Requiem, Fauré's Requiem.
Yeah.
Now, a Requiem sounds a bit gloomy, but is it?
Well, it can be. Many settings can be very, heavily in a minor key, can sound really depressing in a way. But this is thought as quite light. Many people have said that it's a joyous setting of the Requiem words. It can be quite upbeat. The Agnus Dei from it has many people might recognise it from the Anchor Butter adverts. And you wouldn't associate death with Anchor Butter, but there we are. It's great music, and I think it's in a way it's a nice way to maybe remember people by music that's quite uplifting and not necessarily so dour.
I'll take your word for it, the lighter side of death. And the English side of the concert, what's that?
Yeah, well, we've got two pieces. One piece was written just over 100 years ago by the English composer Herbert Howells, and is quite a serious piece. It's a kind of reflection almost on the war. Howells himself never got to be in the war, unfortunately because of his health, but it's a setting of kind of almost very Lenten words by the waters of Babylon, but has a glowing violin part that soars above and is very reminiscent of Vaughan Williams' Lark Ascending. It's a great,
that's rather beautiful.
Really beautiful piece, and not often done, but it's a beautiful chamber item.
And you've commissioned your own work as well.
We have. This is really exciting. It's 6 songs. Collectively, we're calling it Sing to Me. They have taken various composers, including Houseman and Teasdale, and some really beautiful words like dragonfly and frost, words that are really kind of onomatopoeic.
Very poetic.
Beautiful, yeah.
And good to be commissioning work from a young composer as well.
He's only 25. Very young, but wow, what music.
This will be Louth Choral Society plus Louth Church Choir plus a few singers from St Edward's School.
That's right.
At St James's Church. Which date? 23rd of April?
22nd. Sunday the
22nd.
22nd.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Very welcome.
Here is Jack with all the sports.
We'll start with Rugby League, and it was a fantastic bank holiday weekend for Hull FC. The Black and Whites won both their matches over the Easter period to move up to 5th in Super League. Mark Sneyd was the hero yesterday as his spectacular 52-metre drop kick sealed a dramatic 27-26 victory over Wakefield Trinity. FC had trailed 18-8 at half-time, but tries from Jordan Abdul, Albert Kelly and a double from Fetuli Talanoa gave them the win at the KCOM Stadium. Meanwhile, it was also a very good Friday for the Early Birds, who triumphed in the first Super League Hull derby of the season. Despite playing nearly 70 minutes with 12 men, Hull's quality shined through as they won 30-22 at KCOM Craven Park. Tries from Danny Houghton, Jamie Shull, Jake Connor and another brace from Talanoa secured the victory after Barita Faramo's red card. Play was delayed at various intervals throughout the game, with the video referee examining several try decisions. After the match, Hull FC head coach Lee Radford was critical of the long breaks in play.
That game's took 2 hours to do. When you're down to 12, this isn't our great because we won obviously, so when you're down to 12 you won again to take 2 hours. But that's not what our sport, the different, what differences us from rugby union is the speed of the game and the tempo of the game. So, when I first started for the last 60 minutes, it's why have we got an official on the field? We just keep going upstairs all the time, and that's what happened. And it was, it did, pretty much. So, either employ a referee who's going to grow up there, okay, or go upstairs constantly, for every game, so at least we know what we're getting.
It was a disappointing defeat for Hull Kingston Rovers in their first Super League Hull derby since promotion back from the Championship last season. Thomas Minns registered a hat-trick of tries to add to Ryan Shaw's effort, but it wasn't enough as they felt a defeat on their own ground. Robins head coach Tim Sheens cut a frustrated figure throughout. After the game, he spoke of his disappointment at the result.
I'm very frustrated about it. I don't think I've been as frustrated in the game. But the guys had the opportunity, but I think the scoreboard pressure just got to them. We were chasing them the whole game. Every time we got back into the game, our right edge gave up points. So, misread it, and they started second guessing themselves. But not a lot of time to get that combination together with losing a couple of players with injury, Heffernan in particular. So, but still, no excuses. They won't give any excuses either.
Rovers also lost yesterday in a heavy 44-6 defeat to Wigan Warriors. It's a result that leaves them joint bottom of the table with Catalan Dragons. Moving on to football now, and Hull City fired a blank on Steve Bruce's return to the KCOM Stadium as they drew 0-0 with Aston Villa. The Tigers went closest through Angus MacDonald and John Terrell, while Nigel Adkins' side saw a second-half penalty appeal waved away. That result means City have only lost one of their last 11 home games in all competitions. They stay in 18th position. Hull are now 6 points above the relegation zone, but take on Championship leaders Wolves tonight at Molineux. In League One, Scunthorpe United also played just the once over the bank holiday period. The Iron drew 1-1 away at Oxford United on Good Friday, in Nick Dawes' first game in charge as interim manager. Ivan Toney gave Scunthorpe a half-time lead, but James Henry's penalty ensured both sides had to settle for a point. Meanwhile, Scunthorpe's game with Plymouth Argyle yesterday was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. After a pitch inspection, the Glanford Park surface was deemed unplayable by referee Scott Oldham. With the Iron not playing and other results going against them, United find themselves out of the playoff places in 8th place. And finally, it was another winless weekend for Grimsby Town in League Two. The Mariners picked up just 1 point from a possible 6 over the Easter period. First up, they drew 0-0 at home to Stevenage on Good Friday before losing 2-1 at Wycombe Wanderers on Easter Monday. Martin Woodford had given Town a shock lead at Adams Park yesterday, but goals from Adam El Abd and Scott Cashcott condemned Grimsby to defeat. Michael Jolly's side are 22nd in the table and just 4 points above Chesterfield, who now have 3 games in hand over them. That's all for today's sport. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jack. That's it for us tonight. Workers' Memorial Day, 28th of April. Louth Choral Society, St James's Church, 7:30 in the evening. 23rd of April. If you've story for us, then 22nd of April. Facebook or Twitter appear below me. Email news@estuary.tv or telephone Grimsby 01472 31 555 3. From all of us here for this evening, good evening.